Real Magic is the new show from Forced Entertainment, and it has 3 performers, Richard Loden, Jerry Killick and Claire Marshall. This piece is, I think, about a group of performers on stage who are trying to do something impossible. It's this act of mind reading or telepathy. Looks a little bit like something from a game show or something from a kind of cheesy cabaret routine. But at the core of it, there's this wish that somebody could read what's in another person's mind. And in the piece, they throw themselves at this task time and time and time and time again. And I think from their side on stage, it's like they're really hoping that one of these times this act is going to go right. And from the audience's side, you also have this desire that they get this thing right, that they get it to work, that something magic, something really magic is possible. In some ways, it's a piece about being trapped. It's about the performers being stuck inside something, very limited kind of range of material that they're dealing with. And in other ways, it's about inventiveness. It's about the possibility of them playing this thing in all of these different ways and the ways that it can change and does change in your experience of it as an audience. You get to see something and you think you've seen it, and then later on you see it again, but now it's changed. Something's altered, something's beginning to work in a different way. So it's sort of about challenging your certainty about what it is that you're looking at, and challenging your certainty about what your involvement is, what you think's at stake, what you think's going on. I mean, it's been an interesting piece in terms of process, in that we're dealing with this very small kind of piece of material that we're endlessly reworking. So it's a sort of nightmare of many, many, many different versions of the same thing that you're trying to structure. So a lot of improvisation, a lot of videotaping improvisations, and then a lot of transcribing and really looking at the detail of what happens as the performers flow from one version of the material to another, to another, to another. And now, as we're kind of coming to opening and touring the piece, there's a whole other job, which is, having done all of that improvisation and built structures that are based on the discoveries that we've made, we're now involved in a sort of massive attempt to recreate and hold on to the kind of different flows of energy and decisions that people were making in those improvisations.
Right. We've never met before, have we?
The sound's really important. We use a lot of loops of music, and we use a lot of loops of audience reactions like laughter and applause. And those things in combination sort of skim across the surface of the piece, and as they do so, they kind of change the atmosphere, and they change what is possible for the performers to do. In all sorts of ways, the material mutates, and as it does so, it kind of pushes the audience or pulls them, entices them into different ways of looking at what's happening on the stage. Real Magic is one of those shows of ours that takes something from popular culture. It takes this kind of fragment of a game show or of a cabaret act or something like that, and it takes that as raw material and it uses it to make something else, to make something that's poetic and provocative and challenging. The piece is about optimism and about whether change is possible or not in a kind of political sense, we're inside a system. We're inside a particular moment of history, and how can we as human beings effect change inside that? Or is the structure that we're in too powerful and too crushing, ultimately, that we're unable to really change it?